Hi Muses! I have been having, well, I want to say it's a productive day, but I'm in sparkle mode, and if you don't know about soul modes, definitely check out Carly Marie's soul modes. So hot here and it's hard to think. But I had done a behind the scenes, my monthly behind the scenes sharing inside my Muse Mojo membership, which is where my muses who want to upgrade and up level their creative practice, their creative work, to be the artist and leader and muse that they're being called to be in the world, to live a life of joyful purpose in connection to their creativity. So whether in my business, in my work, and internet. How's that? Okay, so behind the scenes, I share every month what's happening behind the scenes, what I've been learning like on the spot, and you get obviously a really good sneak peek in how I live life as a professional, creative business person, mama, weaving all this creativity and life and business and babies with life and laundry. And so that's what the Muse members get, Muse Mojo members get. And doing all of that, I love doing that kind of stuff, sharing behind the scenes, because then stuff come up and I wanted to share it with you guys who are following me here about when you're feeling stuck. I think I was talking about feeling really in the ebb of my creative practice and in the last few months, which is why I impromptu decided to do a daily painting a day on my Instagram for the month of November. And sharing the learnings and everything behind that. Obviously, if you sign up and join today, there is a $5 trial. You can have access to it and have a look around and see if it's for you, and access to creative resources and all these kind of trainings. And every month there's new workshops and new courses that's going to be released coming up. So it just increases in value over time, not to mention it's already super valuable and lowest investment to be able to work with me in such a personalized attention, so much of my energy and attention on you and your creative practice in that way. And they get all the like specials and freebies. Anyway, that wasn't on that. The reason I was talking about this is in that I shared about why I was feeling, when I'm feeling really stuck and frustrated in my creative work. And you know, you get into that spiral of negative thinking where you feel like you can't do anything, you don't feel like it, you're really stuck in procrastination, and you feel like you don't have anything value to add, nothing creative to do, and what you do is crap anyway, and it just keeps spiraling downwards. And then because you don't do any work, you just have more evidence that proves that you suck, and everything that you make is a piece of shit, and everything that you look at feels really crappy, and then, you know, it just keeps spiraling downwards. And I was in that space. And the thing about this is, if you work with me and follow any of my videos, I know that this is a spiral of resistance and negative thinking, and it's a habit, it's a practice, it's an old way of thinking. And the only way to snap out of that is to break that habit and put in place a different habit. And so I recognize that in myself, even though it still feels horrible. So if this resonates with you, I totally understand. I know what that feels like. And and especially you don't have enough sleep, the right foods, you're not hydrated, you know, your anxiety kind of rises up, and it doesn't help. And so the only way to stop that, I knew I had to disrupt that thinking. I had to come back to my practice of these 3Ds. And what I shared in there, it was really, really great. I wish I could send you to it. If you join Muse Mojo, you can see the video. And but I thought I'll share these things, the 3Ds, with you to help you if you're feeling like you're really frustrated and in your procrastination, and you can't seem to bring yourself like the motivation to kind of move you forward, and you're waiting for inspiration to give you that spark of inspired productivity to like get going. And you'll know this is why you're feeling frustrated, that it's not coming, and all that waiting only proves to that horrible inner critic voice that you suck and everything you do is crap and you're not capable, and who are you to think that you should do this creative thing, you're busy, you know, everything's chaotic around you right now, everything's messy, and there's better things for you to do, and then yet you're still frustrated, right? And just keep spiraling onwards. You're frustrated because you know this isn't about taking a rest. Absolutely, if you need to take rest and take that time off, then that's the season to do that. Because sometimes the fastest and most efficient way to really get going and to move forward is to actually take a rest. But if you're feeling frustrated and you know better, and you know deep down, you know that there's really nothing stopping you, it isn't because you've broken a leg or you're in hospital or, some tragedy has happened. You are just in this old habit of being stuck in procrastination. And the first thing is something that feels really little or insignificant, or people just kind of dismiss it. And I love talking about things that people feel like are insignificant, because you underestimate the significance of insignificant steps. And so the first D is to decide, to really make a decision. And really, have you decided that you want to stop this feeling, this story? Have you decided that you want to disrupt and to change this way of thinking? Have you truly decided that you are done with this feeling of frustration and feeling like you're never inspired, and that you're stuck, and that you aren't creative, and that, being creativity and creative work and the creative calling and the creative practice is for other people and not for you, and yet you still yearn for it and you still want it? Are you done with feeling like that? And have you decided to change that story? Because there's a difference between deciding, like a decision, versus dreaming or wishing or hoping or planning to one day, someday. Deciding is a decision. I like to think of it as like my toddler, when she has decided these are the shoes that she's going to wear, even though they are not appropriate for the weather. She's decided. And it will take so much more energy to break that decision than if she kind of felt like, oh, I don't mind, I can wear this one or that one. And I think this too, where you might have thought, yes, this is what I wanted, or no, I really wanted to finish this project, or I really wanted to paint more this year, or knit more this year, or to bake more this year, or to really get into my music more this year, or to learn a new language this year, or whatever it was. But maybe it was more of a wish or a plan or a dream or a hope. I hope I get to it. It's different to I've decided. And that difference, it's not even, it might be a fine line, but sometimes that fine line is like a huge gap. And so finding that energy and really deciding, that's really the first step. And so I look at how I wanted to do that daily painting project. I just decided I was done with feeling sorry for myself, feeling really depressed about my lack of painting and the place I was with my painting voice and the evolution of my painting progress, and just sick of the same stories over and over. And I decided I was going to change that story, and I needed evidence to prove that I was capable of showing up, of painting, of doing the work that I say I want to do. And so I decided I was going to make that evidence for myself. That's the first D. The second one is one that probably isn't popular. It's one that goes against that, I want to feel good, I want to go in divine timing, I want to go with the flow. And it's this romantic notion that somehow if you wait long enough, you would be gifted with this sudden outpouring of inspiration, and you would finally get your ass in gear, and then it would just flow out of you so easily. And it doesn't happen because you're waiting, and you've been waiting, and you've been, procrastinating. And this is why you're feeling frustrated. And the best way to really get your ass moving, I know even when I don't feel like it, I know I'm frustrated, but I don't feel like it. But the only way for me to get into that flow is, number 2, to set a deadline. I can't believe I haven't done this video before. I was trying to look for it. I'm sure I've said this many, many times, but I couldn't find it, so I'm doing this again. So number 2 is a deadline. To set myself a deadline. I know if I'm feeling frustrated, but even though I don't feel like it, I have to set myself a deadline, because I'm frustrated because there's a place I want to go, there's a thing I want to get done, there's something I want to achieve, and yet I don't feel like it. If I don't feel like it because deep down I don't actually want to do it, then I'm not that frustrated. I'm more kind of feeling kind of a sense of duty, or I really should, but a part of me is like, no, I actually don't want to do that. And being able to recognize what it is I want. This is about finding confidence in your creative voice and in your creative message and knowing who you are. And this is why I'm passionate about connecting to your creativity, because even as you're doing just creative work that has nothing to do with your calling or your job or whatever it is, but building up that clarity and confidence with your creative work as a hobby, as fun, as self-expression, you also build that clarity and confidence for yourself to know what you want, what it is that you want to say, and the way you want to show up for the world. And that ripples out into the way you show up in your parenthood, in your job, in your relationships, in your spirituality, and it just becomes a beautiful, regenerative, virtuous cycle. So if you're feeling frustrated, you want something to get done, and yet you're not feeling like it, you set yourself a deadline. And by deadline, it's about setting yourself an accountability. And accountability is just a fancy way of saying, what is it that you know you need deep down, even though you don't want to? This is where you have to step into leadership, and sometimes you have to mother yourself and get what is it that you know you need, and that would work for you because you know yourself. That is going to put healthy pressure on you. I'm not talking about overwhelming pressure that ends up pushing you beyond what you are capable of, as in beyond what you will burn you out, or to make you feel ashamed of yourself, or to basically set yourself up for failure. That's when you want perfection. That kind of pressure is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about healthy pressure, where I like to call it painting myself into a corner. And I know if I paint myself into a corner, and I build up enough of that pressure, I will work it out, use my creative energies to find solutions. This is when I let go of the baggage of perfection and having everything exactly the way I want, and I'm finding the solutions going to work in order for me to not be stuck in that corner. So this is where, quotes and phrases like just jumping off the cliff and building the wings on your way down, or peer pressure, like positive peer pressure. So what is it that you need to set a deadline, to really give yourself a deadline? And a lot of the time, it's like setting an actual deadline, like signing up for an exhibition, or announcing publicly in front of, for everyone to see, including your mom and that annoying auntie who thinks that you suck, or whatever it is, joining a group challenge that's public, and you're going to post every day for 30 days, which is what I did. I did the 30 days daily painting challenge. Whether it is signing up for an exhibition I said there, or an event, or investing in a coach or a mentor who you pay to basically kick your ass to actually do the work, to have a specific project that you're going to do, whatever that is. I mean, that's what working with a coach like mentor with me, that's what it is. We work together to work out what's a project that you can do, that you can help you not only show up consistently, but create confidence and clarity on what your creative voice is, and to be able to work creativity and a creative practice into your life, all that kind of stuff. That's what you do with me if you were to ever mentor with me as a muse. But the deadline is to really set that, and to make it a little bit challenging. And that hard, uncomfortable feeling that you get, because deep down that's what you need to do, whether it's to tell a friend, ask them to do it with you, or to sign up for a workshop or a class or an event, or that's why people sign up for marathons at the beginning of the year, right? There's a deadline, they have to train and they have to get it done. Setting that deadline, even if it's just for creating a habit, like I want to paint more, I want to knit more, I want to bake more, I want to get into my music, but having a deadline, like I'm going to make a playlist that is for certain moods, 25 of them in the next month. Like just giving yourself a project like they do at school with a deadline and what it is. Giving yourself that deadline means that even when you don't feel like it, you have to meet that deadline. That's how you move your ass. Like, what will light a fire under your butt so that your butt will get up off that chair and take steps forward? Because I know when I set a deadline, it means I no longer have time. And I like to have short deadlines, because I know if I have too long, I have too much time to then overthink it, to overanalyze, into analysis paralysis, get overwhelmed with all the different decisions I have to make, and then I waste time overthinking about trying to make things perfect when I don't have enough time. I have to think of what can I do today to get it done, even amongst the chaos and the craziness and the busyness of life with school kids and all of that, and laundry as always, because laundry is life. that will make me move my ass. This is why I was able to paint more with a newborn at home and a kid going to kinder than I did any other years of my life, even pre-babies. It's why I was able to do the daily painting, and this is why I say now's the time. It's a Christmas holiday season and everyone's really busy, and most people like to think they need to take more time off and to just wait until the new year, and somehow January 1st is going to be this magical time. Don't let January 1st to be your way of procrastinating and a way to give yourself excuses when you can start today. This busy time is actually the perfect time to go, okay, well, what can I do today? What is the smallest step that I can take, no matter how insignificant it may be, that could help me move forward to meet a deadline that I have set for myself? And those tiny, tiny, insignificant steps, there's people outside yelling, tiny, tiny, insignificant steps, they all add up. The third one, and I want to be quick so that I don't waste any more time, and kids are going to be coming home soon, is that you have the decision to make. And these are all little things, but don't underestimate the little things because it makes a huge difference. Making that decision. The second one is setting yourself a deadline, and part of you knows deep down that deadline, having an exhibition that you have to go for, signing up for that marathon, those kind of things you can apply to yourself. Making every recipe from this one recipe book by June next year, whatever that is, right? Setting that deadline. And the third one is to get it done, like to do it, to take action, to take teeny tiny baby steps. This is the phrase I've been using today. Teeny tiny baby insignificant steps. We underestimate these insignificant steps and we wait until we have time and the right resources and the right energy and the right feeling, motivation, inspiration to take more significant, bigger, worthy steps. When if you just took those teeny tiny insignificant ones, it's going to add up to a lot more than you waiting, and you'll still be sitting around waiting this time next year in frustration, in stuckness, in procrastination, reaffirming that old habit and that inner voice that you suck and that you're not making anything and you can't get your ass off the chair, when all you had to do was to embrace imperfection, as I always say, embrace imperfection, and to take those teeny tiny little insignificant steps towards the deadline, and remembering it's a daily decision that you might need to make. It has to be daily sometimes to decide that you're going to change the story, change the way you're going to do it, change this feeling that you are feeling, and that you are done with this old way of doing. What do you think? I know I just went on a rant and I was just feeling the flow. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay and you have got to this far, which one of the three really resonates with you, something that you really need to work on that you haven't thought of. I would love to know. Definitely comment it in the comments below. All of this has really inspired me to think of a challenge that I'm going to do inside my Mindful Muses group. If you don't know, I have a Mindful Muses group. It's a free group for muses like you who want to be mindful and intentional about connecting with their creativity. And if you are looking for a community, because all of this three about deciding, and it's a daily decision sometimes, to have a deadline and to keep that accountability and to actually do it. The fourth one is to really find that community, to find a community that you can connect with so that you know that you're not alone, so that you can find tips and hacks to help you move forward, to help you rewrite the story sometimes, because sometimes when you're stuck in the fog, it's really hard to see out. And so if you would love to connect with that community, I'm going to put that in the comments. It's in here. I will put it into the comments. I've got to go now. I can hear the kids calling. We gotta probably, I don't know, work out what's for dinner. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Let me know in the comments what really resonated and what you're gonna do today. Remember, teeny, tiny, insignificant steps. I'll see you then. Bye.